Back with us again tonight is Maya Wiley, former assistant U.S. attorney for the Southern District of New York, a veteran of the New York City mayor's office, who is now with the New School in New York. Maya, just need to hear your reaction to this horrendous scene we are seeing in one of America's finest cities that is absent one of its residents. Somebody needs to answer for George Floyd.
You're absolutely right, Brian. And I think what we're seeing is the community demanding an answer, and demanding an answer that includes the word justice in it. You know, you have to wonder when you see these images that we're seeing tonight, and I think that Allie so carefully and responsibly reported to us is, you know, really about anger, and underneath that anger is pain, but not about violence, although there is obviously some fire setting and some things to be concerned about. But you have to wonder if the images we would be seeing tonight would be different if what we had heard from prosecutors were that they were taking the officers in, arresting them, and that charges were coming. We did not hear that despite the videotape. And part of what we are seeing, and part of what we have to understand, is that this is a community like communities all over the country, and that's why we're seeing protests around the country, that have felt for too long that no matter how much evidence there is of wrongdoing, the answer seems to be, don't believe your lying eyes, rather than we are going to take this evidence. You know, we heard that there is evidence that may suggest it wasn't a crime. I would really like to hear what that evidence is. It's very hard for me to understand, seeing that videotape, why, even if there is some argument on another side, there's always a way to mount a defense, but why a prosecutor isn't saying, you know, we're going to make it very clear that we're coming, and we're coming hard. We can't predict the outcome, but we're going to do our job.
Can you tell me a matter of the law that people have asked me, and without having your legal training, I have not had the answer for? How can it be possible that 4 police officers fall short of the standard required to serve on the police department of Minneapolis, yet would not immediately qualify for arrest and charging, given the kaleidoscopic video coverage and audio that we have of this action?
I wish I had an answer for you, Brian, that I thought was satisfactory, and I don't. What I will say is it's certainly true that in general, prosecutors try to be careful, try to ensure they have all the evidence and information before they make a decision. I think the problem here is, and I served, you know, as you know, as chair of the Civilian Complaint Review Board, doing police oversight of civilian cases. And I have to tell you, this is the kind of video that made us cringe. And that you would hope that the police department, as we saw, did the unusual step for police departments of saying, you're gone, you're fired immediately, and actually calling in for a federal investigation. So the idea, though, that there's not enough here is quite challenging. And I think the other thing that we're hearing from communities and that we have to understand is most of us don't get the benefit of that doubt. We're just arrested. And so the answer becomes, well, why aren't these police officers, when we have 10 minutes of video of a man who is handcuffed, not his hands loose, surrounded by police officers, there's no indication in this video that he is fighting the officers, and he is begging for his life, and that we hear bystanders standing around and quite reasonably and respectfully raising very serious concerns about whether or not he is able to breathe, What that tells any lawyer is I have video evidence that average rational people looked on this scene and saw a man in serious trouble, medical trouble. That tells you that the police should have seen it too. And I don't see any evidence on this videotape that there is a reason why they needed to do exactly what the training would have suggested they not do. Once someone is subdued, the idea that you have a knee for a prolonged period on someone's windpipe, their ability to breathe, is exactly the kind of thing officers are trained on in their training. And you can't defend yourself if you have violated your training, and you cannot defend yourself if the person you have arrested is under your control. If you don't have a danger to yourself or to the public. I can't show you in this video where there is any indication of that defense.
Hey there, I'm Chris Hayes from MSNBC. Thanks for watching MSNBC on YouTube. If you want to keep up to date with the videos we're putting out, you can click subscribe just below me, or click over on this list to see lots of other great videos.